Great. So we're here today with the CEO of Daymak, Aldo Baiocchi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to talk about your company.
Thank you for having me.
So Jesse, I think you stumbled upon Daymak. Maybe it was one of our viewers that told us about it. Yep. And when you started showing me their website, I was like, how does this company make all these cool things? So let's talk about Daymak first, because I know there's another segment to your company. We'll get into that soon. But yeah, I want to talk about Daymak. I want to find out how you guys started and how you guys came up with so many cool products.
Yeah, so I started about 20 years ago, 2001 from my garage. It was just after the dot-com bust, and I had to do something real. So I decided to import electric scooters similar to Bird and Lime and e-bikes.
But wait, in 2001?
Yeah, that's early.
What, did they make those? Because the first time I saw an electric scooter was 2017 in like LA, San Francisco, right? I think.
Yeah. So I was a little bit ahead of my time. I actually, so I put all my life savings, which at that time was about $10,000, into the electric scooters that I imported from China. I figured I was very smart. I was going to buy them cheap, sell them for a lot of money, and make a fortune. And what happened is that I brought the container over to Canada, and it was seized by customs because they did not meet the rules. So they were illegal. That's why nobody was selling them. So that was a tough lesson. I had to ship them out to the US because they were not legal in Canada, and it cost me a lot of money. And then after that, I got smarter. I said, okay, no scooters. I'll go to e-bikes. E-bikes, I checked the rules. They were legal to import, legal to sell. So I said, okay, let's bring a container of e-bikes. So what happened, I brought the container over, and you can import them, you could sell them, but you cannot ride them anywhere. This is 2002. So it was a difficult sale, to say the least, because you cannot ride them anywhere.
Oh, right, because there were no like laws in place, so people thought they were like, okay.
And they were considered to be what, like a motorcycle?
Right, so you needed insurance license, but you could not get it anyway, so it's not, it was impossible. So it was I was a little bit ahead of my time in 2002. So then I after that, I moved to mobility scooters, which are still electric. And this time, I checked the rules. You could sell them. In 2011, they finally passed the rule for e-bikes, and they became legal. Since then, we grew quite a bit. We became #1 distributor of light electric vehicles in Canada. That's e-bikes, mobility scooters, electric ATVs. Our clients include Walmart, Costco, Best Buy. We have over 100 dealers in our network, and we exported products to over 25 countries.
Wow. Okay, so I just want to take a step back here. 2001 is when you thought that electric scooters were going to be a big thing. First of all, what did they look like? Because I had a Razor scooter in 2001. I wouldn't have dreamed of having an electric scooter. So were they the same looking things
like
as
a
Lime
right?
or Bird scooters?
Yeah, actually, okay, so the batteries were lead acid, they were not lithium, right? But if you go, there's an internet archive online. You can go check daymak.com, what it looked like in 2002, and you'll see what the scooter looked like. It was actually pretty good. It's pretty similar, but not as fast. But otherwise, it's a stand-up scooter, and you can boot around pretty nicely.
What got you to think that this is something, because at every turn you seem to be choosing an electric vehicle. Why weren't you just selling motorcycles or something that was more common or legal during that time?
Well, no, I wanted to, I thought the electric was the future.
In 2001?
Yeah.
Nobody knew. Nobody was thinking about that in 2001. So I want to go even further back. How did you come up with? Why were you feeling this way in 2001? Nobody was thinking this.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Like I have a Tesla. I see your videos. Like I bought a Tesla in 2013, and everybody was laughing at me. I should have bought the stock, but anyway, that's another story, right? Like because in 2013 Tesla, they all thought they were going to go bankrupt. I don't know if you guys remember that, but the only talk was bankruptcy. That's all there was talking about. Now, who's laughing now, right? So, but yeah, I saw these scooters and I thought they were fun. So I thought there was a market for it. It's electric, gas smells, and all this other stuff. So I thought it was a way to go. Maybe a little bit early, but it was the right way to go.
That's really cool. You were way ahead of the curve, dude.
Way ahead of the curve.
And I was buying a scooter for my daughter. That's how the company is called, Daymak. So my daughter's name is Daniela. And so the D is for Daniela, and A is for Aldo, which is me. Y is for my wife's name, which is Yeg. and M is my other daughter. So that's the original scooter I bought. It was for my daughter to spin around. So that's how I started, looking for a toy for my daughter.
Okay, so you finally got into mobility scooters. When was this? 2011?
No, 2003.
Wow. Okay. So 2011 is when e-bikes were legal in Canada.
Right.
Did you start selling them immediately?
Quebec was the first province in Canada that was allowed to sell e-bikes. So I sold in Quebec. I couldn't sell them locally in Ontario, like where I am, but I could sell them in Quebec. So it took a bit of time, but then finally started moving. So in 2011, things started booming, obviously, with e-bikes, because at that point they were legal across Canada. And I think in the US it took a bit longer, but across Canada it became mostly legal, so it became an easy sell, if you want to call it easy.
And if my memory is correct, when e-bikes first came on the market, they were, big batteries, they were clunky, they were expensive, and now they've been getting smaller and lighter and more powerful and cheaper. Has that kind of been your experience too?
Yeah, so first there was lead acid, which most of the e-bikes don't have lead acid batteries, but mobility scooters still use lead acid in some cases. And then there was NiCad batteries, but they blew up, there were issues. And then lithium came along, and prices started going down, and better quality and so on, right? So it's been a journey, but most of it before was lead acid, very heavy, problematic, and all this other stuff, right?
You have so many different kinds of e-bikes. Like, we're just showing you a bunch of them right now, but so many different kinds of models, from cargo to city to, off-road.
And then you sell dune buggies, UTVs, dirt bikes. I mean, you have probably the widest selection of electric mobility products of any company I've ever seen.
That's why when you showed it to me, Jesse, I was
couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
So how did you get into all of this stuff, and how are you selling products that I haven't seen anywhere else?
Yeah.
Some products obviously are more popular than others. Right now, the most popular are the e-bikes, metal frame types. A few years ago, before COVID, it was scooter types. Mobility scooter has been trending up all along, and we developed our Boomer Beast, which is a 3-wheel, all-wheel drive with a lithium battery up to 90-kilometer range that goes anywhere. That's one of our most popular vehicles now. There's a video of me on our channel that I go on snow, but it can go snow, dirt, you name it. And everybody's familiar with e-bikes and cars, but mobility scooters, the technology hasn't advanced as much in the last 20 years, and I think we have the most advanced products. So some products are obviously for certain people, the niche market, like the dune buggies and so on, but some products that are become mainstream, like the e-bikes. People now ride them every day to go to work, to go to school. They want to avoid public transportation, obviously. So the e-bikes and the mobility scooters are actually our biggest sellers right now.
And all electric. Everything's electric.
Good for you.
I mean, good for you. I mean, we were saying that earlier. You wanted to be electric back in 2001, and you've just kept that the whole way through.
That is grit, dude. Yeah. That is severe grit.
Yeah.
I appreciate your comments. Coming from electric, I see your all your Tesla videos, so it's pretty good.
So I want to get into even more far out stuff. You have a lineup. I don't know how this works, but basically, so the Avenir lineup, and one of the things that caught my eye, of course, is the Spiritus. Mm-hmm. So we got to talk about this. Yeah. We're showing now the teaser of the actual prototype. You have an actual, this isn't CGI, right? This is real.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Tell me about this. How did you develop this?
So, my goal from day one was to develop my own products. So back in 2001, obviously I didn't have the funds. So slowly but surely I moved on to building my products, our own frames, our own designs. And the Avenir is basically 6 new products, a Terra e-bike, the Aspera ATV, the Tectus mobility scooter, the Forest e-trike, and the Spiritus car, and the Skyrider, which is, they're all, most of them are enclosed with solar panels, all electric obviously. And we launched about a year and a half ago the campaign on the car, which also mines crypto, Doge, thanks to Elon Musk. I mean, that's how I got into it. We have over $1.1 billion in orders for the 6 products. And we're planning to do a NASDAQ launch on the Avenir company by itself for these 6 products this year. So we have 2 prototypes completed. We're going to do a test 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds in next month. That will make it the fastest production 3-wheel vehicle on the planet.
See, I was right. It's not 0 to 60 kilometers. It's 0 to 60 miles in 1.8 seconds, Jesse.
How do you do that?
That's faster than a Roadster.
It's faster than the next generation Roadster. How do you do that?
Well, it's lighter.
But it's friction. Aren't we running into the limits of friction and gravity? Like on Jupiter, it's not that big a deal because you have more downforce and the friction between the wheels allows you to get a faster 0 to 60. But as soon as you start going over 1 G of acceleration, you start having to do some pretty wild stuff. So how do you do 1.8 seconds?
Well, if you saw Elon Musk videos, like, he says if you could take out the doors and the weight, we go faster, right? So think of that. We have 3 wheels, 3 motors, much lighter weight than a Model S, like fully loaded. So we can achieve a little bit faster than the Model S fully loaded up, or the Roadster. So we need to prove it. Obviously, we have proved it on simulation. Now we're going to prove it on the track. We're going to get a Formula One driver retired to do the test, put it on video, invite a bunch of people, and then I can actually show it. And you can ask the engineers how they did it. That's probably easier.
Okay, and so there's 2 versions of this, right? So there's a version that's more affordable. It's $23,000 in that range. And like you said, it's 0 to 60. This one would be 0 to 60 in
5 seconds and change.
5 seconds. It's going to have 100 horsepower and 30 kilowatt hour battery. So what kind of range are we talking about on that?
Okay, so in perfect condition, we're claiming 380 kilometers, not miles. Probably a little less. Even my Model S, it's never the right number, depending on the weather condition and so on. But so if you get 275 in the city, I would say it's pretty good.
And this would be under the motorcycle like laws, right? So you would, it doesn't have to go through all the same safety testing.
Right,
as a
that's
car.
right.
Okay.
So that's why we would pick 3-wheel to save on some of that costing. But in the future, we'd like to build a 4-wheel car as well. But that's going to come. Right now, our competition is Terra, Arximoto, and Electromechanica. And those are the main ones I know of in North America.
And that's pretty cool because, that's right in that price range. But then if you want to go nuts, you can get the high-end version, $149,000, 80 kilowatt hour battery, 0 to 60, like you said, maybe 1.8 seconds. That's crazy. And then how does it mine crypto?
The car has a GPU system, which basically, your regular car, you're depreciating as soon as you drive it. And most people drive 1 hour a day. And the other 23 hours, you're depreciating the car. So in our car, 23 hours a day, you can mine crypto. You could settle in any currency you want. You can settle in cash if you don't care about crypto. So you just basically set it to pay you in cash. And it mines approximately about $10 of Ethereum. So you could settle in Dogecoin if you want, or you can settle in Bitcoin, or you can just convert to money and send it straight to your wallet, like your real bank wallet, if you're not into crypto mining.
And it achieves this because, obviously the GPU runs with electricity. It's not just free, but it does have solar panels.
Oh, right.
On the Spiritus.
Our goal was to, if we can make $10 a day times 30, that's $300. That's reducing your costs. And ideally, we see that you can integrate it to pay your drive-thrus or tolls or whatever it is directly from the car. So it adds value that where other cars don't have any additional value. We also think our car is pretty cool looking and faster than most of our 3-wheel competitors anyway.
As Elon has said many times before, it's, prototypes are one thing, production is hard, or he's used more terms than that. It's like chewing on glass or something. Tell me about what it's like to go from the prototype and now I assume you're starting to think about ramping up. How's that going?
Yeah, it's challenging. Okay, so I built 1 prototype in Canada and 1 in Argentina. So we have a deal for a plant for financing in Canada and 1 in Argentina. In Argentina, actually, they're giving us land, building. They want the jobs, and they're giving us everything for free if we actually build there. And they've given me all the plans of how to build the cars. Like they've done, the people involved are from Formula One teams in Renault. And they actually have, this is for the ultimate version, the 149,000. And they have everything already done, like figured out. We just have to, that's what we're going to do the test in next month. For Canada, I'm about to close a deal to get the plant built in Markham or Bowmanville, which is near Toronto. And it's challenging, but I think we could do it. Like I didn't believe that 2 years ago, but I think now I actually do.
What are some of the products that Daymak actually makes, and what has been your process on that?
Yeah, so we actually have an assembly plant for the Boomer Beast, the Beast ATV, the 2-wheel, the 3-wheel, and we used to build the EC1, which is the carbon frame e-bikes. We, compared to the competition, we have 20 years experience. We know how to sell, distribute, service, market, and all the products that we're talking about. So it's not, we started yesterday. We already sold 100,000 electric vehicles, and the components are very similar. So we're talking batteries, chargers, controllers. Obviously, the car is more complicated, but all the other ones in the Avenir lineup are within our reach already. So the car is a step up, and the Skyrider is another step up, but that's in the future.
So will the Spiritus be the first in that lineup that you're going to produce, or is there something else coming first?
No, the Tactus Mobility is actually going to be the first one out this year. And then the Terra e-bike is actually next. Again, that's within our reach. Solar panels, it's got MP3 built in, GPS, it's got a bunch of stuff that no other e-bikes has. And that's within our experience over the years. So we're going to do the easier products first, then we do the car.
Can we talk about the Tactus? Because that looks really cool. I haven't seen anything exactly like that before. It's this covered bike, and we talk about this a lot of like, if you live in, say, New England like we do, or up in Canada, a bike just doesn't cut it for most of the year. This looks like it might. So is that why you designed it?
Yeah. Most the clients we sell, like after COVID, they use mobility scooters all year long. And you can't ride in January or February a mobility scooter. It's too cold. And in the summertime, older people have problems with the heat. So this actually has built-in heater and air conditioning. So you could ride it all year long. And you can remove the roof if you want to remove it. It takes about 30 minutes. So it's an all-year vehicle. So that solves a solution for all the people that, what are you supposed to do? Stay home for a month? No, you have to go out. So that's why there's a lot of requests for this product. It's going to be one of the most popular products that we sell.
And where can I take it if I am driving around? I can't take it on the highway, obviously, but
some cities have different rules, but most of North America is you're supposed to go on the sidewalk if there's a sidewalk, or the side of the road if there's no sidewalk.
And then I want to look at the 4S as well.
Yeah. Is that the recumbent? So basically 2 wheels in the front and a third in the back, and then you're kind of recumbent, reclined a little bit?
Yeah. So for people like me, we're getting older, you can actually sit back, relax, and you still can pedal. Or if you want, or you just cruise, and it's all covered, so you don't have to worry about the elements of like the rain. With an e-bike, you're forced to obviously, wait till the rain stops, and this you can ride all year long as well.
And then lastly, we have to talk about the Skyrider. Like, I know this is probably aspirational, but please tell me more about this. Looks really cool.
We have all the parts. We're going to build a prototype this year. Not as pretty. But the idea is basically that's the future, just like the electric scooters were the future 20 years ago. So imagine going to work. It's just like a big drone, it's your personal UFO, your flying vehicle, and you can go to work in 10 minutes. No traffic, automatic pilot, and the batteries are going to get lighter and better. So range is going to go up, and eventually the price is going to go lower and lower. But in 2026, I think it's going to be legal. And so there's a lot of companies working on it as well, not just us, obviously. Right?
I feel like you fit the perfect CEO. We talk about this a lot. You are kind of naive,
right?
But yet that allows you to see things that other people can't, because most people, if they were talking about e-bikes in 2001, would have said, e-bikes? What are you talking about? Forget about it.
And the first time they would have talked about e-bikes, or like me, or e-scooters, let's say, like me in 2017, we land in San Francisco. What are all these scooters? Oh, wow, I tried an electric scooter today. That's so fun. You knew about electric scooters back in 2001.
Yeah.
So you've been building your electric empire for this entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas the Johnny-come-latelys are going like, we could buy a bunch of scooters and then dump them out onto the roads and piss off every resident of every city in North America. But meanwhile, you've just been quietly providing really nice electric vehicles to people this whole time.
Yeah, and growing your distribution centers and everything. So you mentioned a little ways back that you think you're going to be IPOing on NASDAQ soon?
Yeah, so the Avenir Electric Vehicle Corporation is a separate company. We plan to do an IPO. We're going to go on the roadshow. We are filing the paperwork, and our goal is to go public in September this year. So we're raising enough funds to build the plant and everything else that we require to get to the next level.
Now, from my understanding of IPOing, there's two kind of ways, right? There's a SPAC where another company takes you public, and then there's an IPO, a traditional IPO. Is that the way you're going? Is traditional?
Traditional IPO on NASDAQ, no SPAC.
That's like tricky, right? Because generally you have to show good revenue and so forth. Do you feel like you're going to be ready and up and running in September for that?
We believe so. According to the lawyers and the people involved in the underwriting, they believe we could do it. So, assuming the market doesn't crash and all this other stuff, right?
It does seem like right now, everyone's calling us up every week and being like, Zach, the market is crashing. Is that a little bit worrisome?
Yeah, it is, but it is the future, and I think we have a good story. We have a nice order book, and we have requests from everywhere in the world, especially Europe as well.
Tell us about your order. So, what's the most popular of these 6 that people are pre-ordering now?
Well, the most popular, the campaign was based on the Spiritus, so most of the orders are on the Spiritus, but I would say the Tectus Mobility is the most popular one after that. We actually have a ton of requests from all over the place, and they already buy the Boomer Beast, which is the earlier version, so there's no cap, there's no cover, so we know that's going to do really well. We have no doubts about that success. And all the other products, it's actually easier. Once we have them in physical inventory, it'll be easy sale. ATVs, e-bikes, we never had that problem selling. The problem is always having enough inventory, and now you have a lot of supply problems with various components, so it's been challenging. But I think it's going to end this year. Everything is going. Hopefully, we'll go back to normal. Assuming there's no more wars and things of that nature, we should be okay.
So production-wise, where do you think you'll be, let's say, this time next year? Do you think you'll be in full ramp?
Yeah, no. So by the time this next year, we should have the Tectus mobility scooter shipping, the Terra e-bike shipping, and about to ship the Aspirated ATV, and then we should have all the initiation. We already started all the plants build-ups for the Spiritus.
Do you think that there is going to be a shift, or have you seen a shift happening recently where you think that people are going to kind of wisen up and go like, I don't necessarily need my crappy beater car to get me to work every day, and maybe an e-bike or something like a Tectus could, get me to where I want to go, and maybe I want to start changing the laws around where I live so that way I could ride something like a for us, like on the road or something like that.
Yeah, so not that the war is a good event. Hopefully the war ends as soon as possible, but gas prices have gone through the roof. And I know a lot of people have given up cars and bought e-bikes. The e-bikes are booming. Even before the war, they were booming. But the price of gas going through the way they are now, a lot of people are giving up on cars altogether. Plus the weather's getting nicer, so it makes no sense to drive a car. But you can't find cars anyway because there's no electric cars. Even Tesla, they were sold out for months. Nothing is available. So e-bikes are actually a great option now. So yeah, there's a lot of people switching over.
Do you think that infrastructure, we're going to start to see it change as more people start to adopt this and realize that biking definitely was not for me, but e-biking is a heck of a lot more tolerable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Before COVID, there was not as many people buying e-bikes, let's face it. But I think a lot of people had time to think it over, and they realized that green is the way to go. And they're actually using it, like I said, to go to work, 15 kilometers away or 10 miles, whatever. They prefer e-biking than biking because, again, most people can't pedal as long, depending on the age and so on. And plus, you don't want to be sweating when you get to work. So e-bikes is actually a perfect option. You get some exercise if you want to do pedal assist or if you want to pedal all together, but it's a perfect option now. So I think it's going to switch. The mindset has switched.
You have a lot of experience with supply chains because you've been doing this for so long. Do you think that you kind of mentioned a few minutes ago that you think things are going to get better next year or maybe even this year? What are your thoughts about Chinese lock on things and the price of shipping going up? Do you think that that's leveled off and things are getting it better?
Yeah, so it has leveled off. So I expect, now there were shutdowns and all the other stuff, but I think by the end of the year we'll go back to normal, which would be maybe 2 times what it was before, but it's a lot less than what it is now. So, and then things will get back to I think the inflation has already come down. Like everything has stopped. Like the inflation was really bad like 4 months ago. I think it takes a while before the government sees the inflation numbers, right? So even shipping reached 35,000 US for a 40-foot container. Now it's at 16, 17,000, and I think it's going to go 12 like at the end of the year. So I believe, I'm confident it's going to get much better and prices will all normalize and we'll go back to a normal course.
It's actually really valuable information for people because I think that, inflation kind of works its way through the market. And when you're buying a commodity, all of the supply chain of it has gone back for months and months and months and months. The inflation happened much earlier.
Right.
It's just the wave of it hasn't made it all the way until you see it on the shelf and you go, mayonnaise is $5 a thing? Oh my goodness. That's when you see it. But you're saying that basically in the supply chain, the prices are already coming down, so we should start to see inflation decrease.
Yeah, so that's what I think anyway. I'm positive. I'm confident that's what's going to happen.
So one thing we see, because we deal with a lot of e-bike companies, is that one of their problems is that they have shipped a bike over from, say, China. You get it, you ride it, you have a problem because it's a product that you're going to hit potholes with, and then you need it serviced. And I think a lot of people are still afraid about getting into e-bikes or things like that because they're like, can my local bike shop fix this? But so you have a lot of experience with that. How do you go about service?
Yeah, so that's why we're very strong in Canada, as we have dealers across Canada. And we actually sell to even large clients, and people have problems, we can direct them directly to our dealers. We're covered from coast to coast in Canada, and if you don't have service and parts, you can't sell e-bikes. Even if the bike shop can fix it and he doesn't have the part, you lost your money basically. Right? So that's lessons of experience over the years, and so we believe in a distribution through dealers that can service the bikes, not just sell them. And that's what we're going to go in the U.S. We've gone slower, but the idea is to have a wide network distribution. You can't sell a bike and then nobody can service it within 300 miles. It's not going to work, right? People get upset. You can't buy online and then you have no place to go to get it fixed. It just doesn't work. Most people are using it every day. Just think about your car. If you couldn't get it fixed, what are you going to do, right? So we believe in service, obviously, and the distribution network is the backbone. Otherwise, you will not be able to sell products or last long anyway.
That's awesome. Because I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to electric mobility. I'm curious, in your new lineup of products, you want to incorporate a lot of solar panels into it. How challenging is it to do that? Because I've built a battery pack before. Well, you can see it, it's sitting right behind me, and we can charge it up by putting little alligator clips on there. And we've built a solar, we've used a solar charge controller before, but how do you package it all together into a little thing that you can, like the Terra? It has solar panels?
Yeah, so the solar panels are not, that means the only way to charge, obviously. Those are, the solar panels are to give you a little bit extra range and keep all the electronics alive, right? So we did it with, and if you look back in our past, we did a Photon scooter, which was a stand-up scooter for kids with a solar board. So kids don't charge their scooter and they forget about it, and the battery dies, and you got to replace the batteries. So the solar panel basically trickle charge the battery. That's how we got the idea from. Same thing with the Beast, the first version. We also built a solar case, so it will give you an extra 6 miles a day. But what it does is it keeps everything checked. So if you drain the batteries and you don't charge your bike for a month, especially on lithium, you can kill the battery, right? So the solar panels basically prolong the life of the battery. That's the key of the solar, and it gives you a little bit of extra range. Not to replace, but if you don't ride that much, then you might be able to do it. But the goal is to make sure that everything is up to par, and the solar panels help out reduce obviously your charging costs as well.
I'm super excited about your whole lineup, everything you have, the Daymak lineup and the whole Avenir lineup. That's really cool.
Yeah, and to me, I think that it speaks volumes about how much experience you have, that pretty much all but one of your products are completely enclosed.
Right.
I think that, I see a lot of cool, fun e-bikes out there, and I go, oh yeah, I'd love to ride it on a nice day. And as soon as it's a little rainy, or we've had such a cold spring this whole spring, and it's been kind of off and on. It's
That's
50s.
a good point, because once you get up to 20 miles an hour, you get cold. You know?
freezing cold.
Right.
Right. And I'm just like, I could wear a jacket, I could, get all dressed up, but I really would just like to be in my, jeans and a t-shirt and get to go for a nice exhilarating ride. So
I think this means we know where we have to go on our next road trip.
yes.
Yeah, come on over. I will show you. I have 75,000 square feet of space here. We have 65 employees. I got all the I test personally every single product, so I'll make sure they're okay.
Thank you so much, Aldo, for talking to us today. This has been so exciting. I can't wait to come check out these products. And I'm really excited about your company going public. I mean, I think this is great. We need more and more e-mobility companies to go public because this is the future.
Thank you very much. And come on by anytime. You're welcome to come by.